Hi, it's Erin and Simon with Assets and Arbitrage. So, we're just going to briefly continue the conversation from Monday. We talked about staying on code, especially when it comes to building financial wealth with your spouse who is extremely interested in the crypto space, investing, just kind of building and creating a life that's sustainable for generations to come. So we talked about the what. Today, I just want to dig in a little bit into the how, because people always have these hypothetical conversations where they're pontificating, and then nobody says, "Well, how can I, contribute or what have you?" If you are a spouse, and I hope you are watching this with your spouse after we had a discussion we had on Monday, and you're saying, "I don't understand it, and that's part of the reason why I haven't really gotten on board." One of the things you can do there's a lot of things you can do. I'm just going to name a few. Is find an article about whatever it is your spouse is into. If your spouse is into XRP, go ahead and, just find an article on XRP and discuss it with them. Even if they know about it, just talk to them about it. Another great thing to do is lectures. So Max and Stacy they have the Orange Pill podcast. I mean, YouTube. Anytime we don't know what to do, what do? We go straight to YouTube. They're great because they keep stuff somewhat simple. Ralph Powell is a little bit, but here's what I'm going to say. It doesn't matter who you're listening to in order to kind of understand whatever your spouse is into, because they'll have the channels and the lectures that they listen to. Whether you understand it or not, use that as a bonding tool with your spouse, right? I didn't get it at first either. We're sitting up here, I'm talking to you guys about these things like I'm an SME. I had no idea what was going on, right? So when he came to me initially, I was one of those spouses. I don't know what this is, but if you like it, you got it. No. We ended up watching lots and lots of lectures. Today, in 2022, you guys don't even have to go to the conferences, but instead of going on another vacation, right, because we don't want you guys to not go on vacation, it's a great bonding session to go on a business trip with your spouse to a Bitcoin conference, to a meetup, whatever meetup it is that you're into. We say Bitcoin because that's really what worked for us. This channel that the Gentlemen of Crypto have, there's a lot of people talking about a lot of different cryptos. We're going to talk to you guys about the lifestyle and how to make it work for you generationally. So I'm not going to get bogged down into coins and tokens, and Bitcoin worked for us. Bitcoin has been very prosperous for us. Ethereum has been very prosperous for us. Nice. Silver has been very prosperous for us. So you'll hear us talk about those things, but it doesn't mean that hubby doesn't have a wallet exchange with a whole bunch of other things in it. But back to the original point, watch the lecture. Even if you don't know what's going on, just listen. After a while, you watch enough lectures, you'll know what's going on. Talk to your spouse about it. Ladies, you want your husband to run after you? Be interested in what he's interested in. He'll talk to you till the sun comes up about that. They're not interested in our eyelashes and our eyebrows. They don't even notice that stuff half the time, right? If you get interested genuinely in what he's interested in, he is going to run after you. Men, I don't know if it works the other way. You would have to tell me. But if this is what she's into, happy spouse, happy house. So it's also a great way to introduce the concept house-wise to older children, right? Because if mom and dad are on board, guess what? The kids are naturally, by osmosis, going to get a lot of it. They're going to get into it. They're going to understand it. And you'll see that it'll be this nice perpetual cycle in knowledge and wisdom and understanding. My 5% nation. You want to talk about retirement.
Oh, yeah. One thing we want to talk about is retirement. We've been talking a lot about building wealth, right? Which is generational. Which is what you want to have for your children and your grandchildren moving along. but we have to talk about ourselves.
Yes, yes.
You have to, and I'm not sure the demographics of the people who listen to this, what age you are, but the younger, the better you get started with your retirement.
Excellent.
I talk to a lot of people, and they don't even, and I'm talking about people my age and older, they don't even have a vision of what retirement is. And you know that, I know that people want to work and they think that they can work until, but listen, at some point you got to go ahead and get up out the game. We talked about this before. Social Security may not be here. So you have to have something put aside for yourself as far as retirement. And you can use these digital assets. Now, we are a proponent of I Trust Capital. Our friend, the chief, salute to the chief. I worked with him. We were firefighters together. He is preparing for his retirement, and he's using I Trust Capital. And we're going to get him on here, and he's going to explain further his experience with I Trust Capital and how it benefits him. So we're definitely going to get the chief on here. We're working out the kinks, but we're going to get the chief on here. And but you have to start preparing for your retirement, because at some point you can no longer work, right? You just cannot work anymore. And some of the jobs, we have these jobs that, maybe union jobs or jobs with benefits that you go ahead and retire from. But a lot of people work jobs where there are no benefits, right?
1099 contractors, or they're jobs where the role is basically an entry-level role.
Right.
And they're paying you just a tad bit more so that they don't have to give you any benefits. Or any decent comparable benefits to skill set, industry knowledge, so on and so forth. And that's just what it is. I mean, back in the day, it was standard for you to get all of that when you worked the 20, 30, 40 years for them.
Yep.
Nowadays, it's a blessing if you have a career and you have those beautiful benefits that come with it. The other thing I wanted to talk
and before I get out of that, because people who work these jobs, they don't understand, and I've been seeing a trend. I talk to people, I watch different trends. People are getting aged out the market before they thought they would. I'm talking about early 40s, right? You had a job, and if you're making a lateral move, if you're not moving up or getting, some kind of management position, upper management, you just want to make a lateral move to another job. Well, here's the thing. Your experience commands a certain salary. And then the people hiring you say, hey, you're 45.
But I can hire a 25-year-old who will learn it quickly.
And I can pay them a lot less.
A lot less.
And
no benefits.
And you'll get aged out the job market before you thought you would if you're trying to change jobs, move around. And it's one thing if you had a job, you're going to keep it for 30 years, 40 years. But a lot of people move around. They're looking for better jobs, better opportunities. But the job market will age you out in your 40s. Trust me. I talk to people, they're getting aged out. They're like, well, I have all this experience and all this schooling and stuff like that. Why can't I find a job? Because the job market is moving on from your age demographic. And so you have to be ready. You have to have your wealth built up. You got to have something put aside for yourself so that you can get to the end of our life. You got to get to the end of your life. You got to get to the end of your life.
I just want to tag on to that quickly. Yes, for those of you who are in denial about the U.S. system and say, oh, that's illegal. Let me tell you something. The companies are working around those things, right? If I took a look at your resume, even if I'm using the ATS, which is the applicant tracking system, I can tell who my older applicants are, who my younger applicants are, right? I don't have to have your age, right? If you worked at, what was the name of that company before it was AT&T? Began with a C. But if you worked at these companies that are no longer in business, and they've been acquired, they've been merged, and so on and so forth, these HRMs, they know. Okay, even the assistants, they know. So yes, they are working around the system in a way that wouldn't implicate them.
Right.
But yet people are getting aged out the market. So what he's saying is absolutely true. The other reality I would like to bring to light about having to retire is that When you're 20, when you're 30, a lot of people are on autopilot. You just get up, you go, you do this. You can go days without going to sleep, get up, go to work. You don't even notice you're aging until that knee starts to ache, until that back can't lift things like it used to. And the thing is it catches everyone. I can't think of a person who is realistic about getting older. Okay, if you were, let's say you were a diabetic at 20, right? You can be reckless because your body is going to rebound very quickly. Once you get 40 and 50, that's when your hands go numb, your feet go numb. And I'm using these examples to say that age really does come out of nowhere, and you have to be prepared for it. You have to be prepared for the idea that what if I can't work anymore at a relatively young age?
Yeah, like I said, she tells you I was a firefighter. I was also in the military. Yeah. Both professions. Very physical, 20s and 30s.
You were an aggressive athlete too.
Yeah. I was
very
great.
Aggressive
I was a great athlete, but I'm not gonna pat myself on the back for
he
that
used
right
to show
now.
off when I showed up at his games, y'all.
But yeah, I spent a lot of time in physical, working physically in my 20s and 30s. I'll tell you a story. I was working. This is in my 20s up to my early 30s. I was working as a firefighter. Okay. I was also working as a paramedic at a local hospital, and I was also a combat medic in the Ohio National Guard. I was working up to 96 hours a week, but I was just going boom, boom, boom,
like
boom.
The real 96, not the standard not that the fire department.
No, but I'm saying I come
actual,
up, 96 hours a week I would work, and it was nothing back in my 20s, early 30s. I said, I can feel it a little bit more, right? So, like we said in the previous show, you want to take that monetary energy, that energy that you expended to get fiat currency, and put it into something that appreciates, which I always use as Bitcoin, and move it across space and time. Because my body broke down sooner than I thought it would. I can't do that kind of stuff anymore. And some people can, some people it'll last longer. But what she's saying is you have to take in consideration that your health may break down. And you can't just say, I'm going to work forever, because as soon as something starts to pop in there, I'm telling you, it goes down quick. It goes down quick.
And a lot of times, your health crisis, we've worked in healthcare for the majority of our adult lives. Like I just left healthcare about 4 years ago. But health crises always come out of the blue. You don't expect it. And it's not even that people don't expect it. They ignore the signs. They ignore the flags, right? And this isn't a health show, but this is a lifestyle show. This is us giving y'all that older gods, that OG talk, that cloth talk. We just want you to be aware of these things because no one talks to you about these things, right? No one tells you, and no one could tell you at 20, like, listen, young blood, I know you new on the fire department, right? You're running around, you got the hose, you're trying to do everything. We standing outside watching you work. But you need to aggressively save now so that when you get to that 40, that 50, where you can't do that stuff anymore, you are financially comfortable enough to where your lifestyle isn't impacted. And not just your lifestyle. This is, you may still have smaller children, right? While we have an adult child, we also have a preschooler in the house.
Yeah, we still
have
a 5-year-old.
Right, so we kind of like started all over. We do have a lot of children, but just understand that you need to be in a position where you can still provide a lifestyle that is appropriate for the people that you are responsible for within your household. They may not be your children that live in the household. They could be nieces, nephews. You may be helping extended family. You may have an elderly, sick mother or father, or whoever, right? And you may not be able to put those hours in and help them at the same time. So when you have that supplemental income, it frees you up to do the things that you need to do.
Yes.
It frees you up to do the things you want to do, you desire to do. So this isn't just about having wealth so that you can go shopping and brunch on Sundays. No. And this is realistic. This is having enough wealth that when crisis hits, you're covered.
And you know what? for us, I see wealth generationally. You want to have it for your generations, but it's also a tool, right? We talk about wealth in regards of freedom, right? I don't want to just have extra money just so I can go buy stuff. No, I want freedom. And people will say, well, how do you define freedom, right? And so one of the things is we talked about it the other day being on Code, and we talked about Neely Fuller Jr. and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. They had something that they put together, and it's called the areas of activity.
Yes.
So just areas of activity that they say are dominated by
white supremacy. Let's talk about it.
So there's different areas of activity. That's 8 or 9, depending on how you categorize them. But what you want to do is try to free yourself from some of these areas of activity. And one of the areas of activity is financial, legacy, financial. And that's where Bitcoin comes in, where you get to be your own bank. You get to free yourself from that area of activity that is dominated by, as they would say, the dominant society, right? So we're looking for freedom. I'm not looking to, have a whole bunch of new clothes and stuff like that. It's nice, but really it's the freedom to do what you want to do every day. And all I really want to do every day is just raise my family and be at home.
And you know what? It's also simple. The freedom to do what you need to do.
What you need to do.
When we were pregnant with the 5-year-old, a baby, I was on bed rest for 4-5 months out of the 9?
4 months, yeah.
4 months. Yeah. And my husband had to take care of me. He had the freedom and the ability to not just even wait on me hand and foot, because he's going to do that anyway, but he's now got to take on the brunt of the children because I can't get out of bed. Right? So it's not I have to go to work. I can't be home with you. I know you need me. I know the children need me because they were a lot younger. They were smaller. He had the ability and the financial freedom and the physical freedom to be home, help me out of bed, cook dinner, do homework with the children. He had the ability to do that. Just think about how many people are in a household. When we were young and we worked at the hospital and he worked at the fire department and all the other things, when somebody was sick, it was like, well, which one of us is going to stay home today? Because I used up my time and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get written up. Or do you have room to stay home with the... And you're begging people for permission to do things that absolutely need to get done.
A perfect example, she, for my people in the medical field, she was pre-eclamptic, right? Which turned into full eclampsia, which means she started having seizures in her the third trimester of the pregnancy, and she had to be hospitalized, right? So I had the freedom to be at the hospital with her, and then I say, okay, I'm gonna go home. We still had 3 kids then, so I'm gonna go home, check on the kids, make sure they're okay, this, that, and the third. We had the freedom to do what we needed to do, right? If I was tied down and bogged down to a job, yes, maybe I could have got some FMLA if I'd have had the right job, but if I didn't have the right job, I couldn't get the time off. I said, my wife's in the hospital with seizures, my kids are at home, and I got to be here.
But also, FMLA does not pay your whole salary. It pays a percentage.
It just gives you
if you're
some
lucky,
time.
You can get the 60%. Many people only get the 40% of the salary. If I'm in the hospital, I'm not getting anything. So we just want to bring these are crises that happen to people every day that take them by surprise. We've had plenty of kids and they've all had some weird issue. That's no big deal. But the point that I'm saying is he was able to be by my side. He was able to be there for the children. He was able to be present in the household where we needed him, not fulfilling somebody's vision at a job.
Yeah, so the wealth building process also gives you freedom. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for freedom. We're not really looking to, live a lavish lifestyle and all that. We just want freedom. We want to be free to do what we need to do for the people that we brought into this world, our family.
I want to bring up one more point that you used to bring up all the time. Okay. He used to tell me, and I laugh, right? Because anytime I think about when you say it, he says, you don't even have the ability to be a ninja if you wanted to. And I remember I died laughing because I didn't know what that meant. But he's saying when you have financial freedom, you have the ability to achieve mastery in that thing in which you are interested in.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an artist, you have the room and the flexibility to do that, even if it's not a popular genre in which you work in. If you wanted to be a writer, and it takes time to develop a craft in order to master it. You have the time to do it. If you want to be a chess champion, that requires time. It requires travel. It requires a lot of things where before you can get to those championships where you can actually win cash prizes and basically get paid for your talent.
Yep.
You have the time. You have the time and the ability to develop that craft. For mastery, most crafts require a significant investment. If you want to be a writer, you may have to take writing courses. You have to read a lot. I can't think of anything that someone can acquire mastery in that they didn't have to purchase tools or utilities or things that they need in order to acquire that mastery.
Yeah, it's investing in yourself. They say mastery is 10,000 hours.
At minimum. Once you hit that minimum of 10,000 hours, you've reached mastery. But most masters have hundreds of thousands of hours.
Mm-hmm. And so you want to invest in yourself. That's also part of wealth building, investing in yourself. And it may not be the traditional way. Maybe you don't have to go to a university where you have to take out a loan, but you can just learn some things and master some stuff. That's what we did with investing in wealth. That's what we did with Bitcoin. We spent many, many, many hours reading, watching videos, researching, reading articles, so that we could kind of, I don't even want to say I mastered Bitcoin. I'm not even trying to go there. I'm just saying
it's ever evolving.
Yeah, it's ever evolving, but we have spent many, many hours learning about it, using it, trying different ways to see, like, does it work this way? Does it work that way? So we're really just experimenting with it, but we always, always constantly try to educate ourselves more. Can I learn more? Tell me more, right? You know, on this channel, like she said,
there's so many.
We're not going to get too technical. I mean, we could bring up charts and stuff and get technical with it.
But there's so many other people doing that.
Yeah, a lot of other people do that. We just giving you like she said, the OG talk. We're sitting here giving that cloth talk, giving you our experience, and just, you know, maybe giving you our perspective and a mindset way to think about it.
Just understanding the mindset that we realized along the way. I'm going to run it back because we always run it back to the original point. Spouses, when we talk about getting on code, it requires you to learn something new. Now I'm going to tell y'all the truth. You know why mugs don't want to learn new stuff? Because a physiological change actually takes place when you learn something new. You develop what's called a neural pathway in your brain. So you guys know how your brain looks like oodles and noodles? Those deep grooves within your brain. Every time you learn something new, you're developing that pathway. It's like etching a groove inside the tissue of the brain. So that's why it feels difficult to learn something unknown, uncertain, so on and so forth. And it's why when you look at, especially Americans and Europeans, they don't feel like thinking. They prefer to do things on and that might be a physiological feature of man. We're not going to do anthropology today. But they would prefer to be on autopilot. I would prefer to not have to think about this thing. I would prefer to not have to figure this thing out. Companies thrive on, don't bring me problems, bring me solutions, because that particular person doesn't want to take the time to figure it out. I'm going to tell you right now, the best bonding session for your significant other, develop that neural pathway, right? Not trying to get y'all pregnant, right? I got 4 kids, so I probably shouldn't be the one telling y'all bond with your mate over lectures and stuff, but do it, right? If it requires you to lay in the bed with them and caress them while you watch it, do it. Have a notebook, write it down. If you don't understand something, just take a little note, look it up, and then talk with them later. Show them that you care and that you are interested in building with them, right? I am really talking to the women because I am a woman, but men, I'm talking to y'all too, right? You want your woman to make you that sandwich, you want her to cook you that roast and rub your feet? get on board with building for your family.
And also, get if you have children,
Mm-hmm.
get your
Get them involved.
get them involved young.
It's a bonding
Get
session.
them involved young because that's when they just they soak up the knowledge. We had, like, I don't know if we mentioned this before, but in our homeschooling, we had a whole course where the kids built their own
gaming
cryptocurrency.
token.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and they're excited about it, and they like the tokens, and they be like, tell me more, and they like to hear about the information, and they're soaking it up at a young age. So if you have children, get them involved as well, because they take in information so fast, and they can understand it, and then in their world they can transmute it and say, oh, I see how this would work here and how we do things. So get them involved, because you know what? One day they can become the teacher.
Right.
So get them involved. Like she said, get involved with your significant other, even if you don't understand it.
Make it a bonding thing.
Make it a bond. Like I said, you bond and say, oh, you're interested in this, and okay, this is good. I like it. I don't really quite understand it. I'm willing to get involved and learn as we move forward. Like she said, going to the conference. We don't actually physically go to the Bitcoin conferences, but we attend the digital conference. We'll sit here and just watch different speakers and different things that's going on, and
that's our bonding session. We'll hang out on the couch. We don't make it formal. I may lay on his shoulder, I may hold his hand or whatever, but it's a bonding thing. And what happens is your brain begins to develop the conditioning to say, well, oh, we're learning, but this is somewhat romantic, and it's a good thing for your energetic body to begin to develop that condition, right? Because now it's not a chore, right? You don't want it to be a chore, and you don't want your significant other to feel like they have to throttle you up and get you excited about this thing, which may be dry, right? I'm into it, but some of it, we look at each other and we're like, boy, this is a long lecture. Let's watch the first hour today. Let's maybe go have lunch, maybe go have dinner, and then we'll watch the second part of the lecture. Like, do whatever it requires, and you can be honest on that front, but develop the neural pathway.
Yeah, but I'll tell you something, though. When the numbers start to go up, people get interested, right?
Oh.
Yeah. Okay?
The money start coming
in. Yeah.
So, we on board. What we doing?
Yeah, Bitcoin at $750, it's like, but now you're like, oh, Bitcoin at what? 50,000?
How many of those do we have?
Then people get interested. Them numbers go up, people get interested. So it may come anyway.
He shoot no shots at me, y'all. He shoot no shots at me.
Numbers go up.
Shots fired, right? But I want to be honest with y'all. You want to be that male or female, that if you went to a Bitcoin conference, you can work the room. You can get the information that you need to get. You can help build further what your spouse has already established, right? I'm going to quote Beyonce now. She said, you take me just to compliment the deal. Those are the type of spouses as Black people. I'm sorry, y'all, if I'm alienating anyone else, but I gotta talk to our melanated community. You need to be that type of spouse, right? Where your spouse is able to take you to compliment the deal, smile, be energetic about it. So I don't understand anything that's going on, but I'm willing to listen. Yeah. I have my notebook, I have my pen, I have my highlighter, and whatever you're willing to explain to me, I'm going to take that, but I'm also going to do some research on my own. This is something to develop not just you personally, it is personal and professional development. It's social development, it's emotional development, because we're talking about the bonding, right? Because I want you guys to see it in this wholesome, comprehensive way. Yeah. This benefits you all the way around, not just financially. Wealth is health. Wealth is emotional health. Wealth is psychological health. It's spiritual health, because you have the ability to have the spiritual experiences that you need to in order to develop. You really want to get balanced with your significant other. A scale has two sides. You need to be the other side of that scale. Y'all need to be on one accord. Before we go. Okay. Any other points? I think we hit all the points we discussed.
No. Like I said, we're going to talk I'm big on the retirement part. I
Mm-hmm.
want people to be prepared for retirement. You know, like I said, the earlier the better you get started, but it's never too late.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about I Trust Capital. We're going
Yep.
to get
We're
our
gonna get the
brother
chief.
Chief in here because that's a place where you can get I hope I'm saying this right, a Roth IRA
Mm-hmm.
with digital assets and precious metals,
As well
right?
as professional guidance
Yeah, and he's going to come on and he's going to give you his experience
with it.
because he's getting ready. Like I said, he's getting ready to retire. He's going to give you his experience. You can roll it over if you already have a traditional retirement.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to get ready to retire because people are out here just thinking they're going to work forever, and I say that doesn't work. That doesn't work now. I don't want to go
Not
too.
only let's dig
I don't want to go
a
too far
tad
off
bit
this thing.
deeper.
But let me say. Now, I don't want to go too far off the thing, but you're seeing a lot more. If you look at the numbers, you're seeing a lot more middle-aged to older-aged black men, but higher numbers of black women becoming homeless.
Homeless. I was
Right.
glad because I was just going to bring it up.
So, you know, you got to be prepared because the game don't love you like that.
Yeah.
If you don't have what you're supposed to have, you will be homeless. You watch these videos, you watch all these black people on Skid Row down there in LA, but you can pick any city. It's just a bunch of homeless, older black people.
Yeah.
So you got to be ready with your retirement. You can't work forever. You got to be ready to have something. And the statistics say that when you take your retirement, basically, right? And I'm not saying everybody, but basically, you take about a 25 to 30% pay cut, right? Yeah, I think it's more than that, but that's
the number that they give.
That's the number they give us. So if you were used to living off a certain amount of money, once you retire, you're gonna have to live off a quarter less. So then you're gonna have to figure out, well, how do I change my lifestyle? That, you know, we're in Mexico, but people have been doing this for years. They've been coming over to Mexico to retire so that they can get that arbitrage from their retirement that they lost that percentage
and keep that same U.S. lifestyle.
And keep that same lifestyle. They've been doing that for years. Been doing it for years.
They don't bother to learn the language.
Nope, don't learn the language or nothing.
So you've been here for 17 years. You can't speak Spanish? No.
But that's because you're gonna have to. You got to fill that gap if you don't know how to fill that 30% gap, unless you're gonna retire and then go get a part-time job to fill that gap. But why did you retire just to go get a part-time job?
And you just don't have that hustle in you.
Yeah.
You don't have that hustle in you anymore to do second, third job, hustle here, grind here. That's 20-year-old, 30-year-old talk.
Yeah, when you're 65,
you ain't hustling and grinding. The only thing that's grinding is the bone on bones in your knee.
But like I said, we're going to get him on here. He's going to talk about his experience with I Trust Capital. You can get your Roth IRA and digital assets and precious metals. And, you know, just we gotta be thinking about generational wealth, but we also got to think about ourselves as far as retiring. Can't work ourselves into the ground.
And there's a heavy assumption that people can just move in with their kids. Like, well, I made 6 kids. I should be able to move in with. You don't know what their situation is financially.
Right.
And, you know, you just hope that you were a good enough parent that they'll take you in. But, you know, you really want to, at that age, like, let's be honest, even if you have great kids and you don't mind staying with them, you may want your own privacy. They want their privacy.
Yeah.
You know, they have a young wife, a young husband, children and stuff. So we want to bring these things up because these are all of the things that Simon and I sit and talk about and say, nobody told us. Nobody mentioned this. No one even considered this to mention it to us.
Yep.
So we are going to really hit y'all with we'll be the older guys. It's no big deal.
It is OG talk. You know, we're just giving you our experience and our vision moving forward. We have children. We're trying to think generations ahead. You know, I mean, we talked about getting aged out the market. You know, in your 40s, you got to start thinking. You have to understand that how the world thinks. They don't care what you want. They're aiming at your kids. So we understand in our 40s, we're like, okay, we got to start thinking about moving forward and bringing them forward with us. And it's not about us anymore. And that's the main thing. It's not about me anymore.
Right.
Everything I do is not about me. It's about them. It's about my kids, and it's about people who aren't even here. I'm doing stuff for people.
Shirley didn't ask to come here.
Yeah, they didn't ask to come here. So I have to do something for them because they didn't ask to be here. You know, it was about me when I was younger, but it's not about me anymore. And that's fine. I don't care. You know, I'm a simple man. I don't need that much, but I still have to think about my family moving forward. So we have to have these conversations so that, like I said, I don't know the demographic and the age of the people that, you know, may be listening.
And we're hoping we never alienate anyone in our audience.
Yeah, we're not
but sometimes
trying to
we just
nobody.
Have to speak the truth, especially based on our perspective. For hundreds and hundreds of years, we have been neglected, and we have done some neglecting. Yeah. Right? So now we're at a point where we can be forward thinking. We can make those chess moves. We can play chess. We're not playing checkers anymore. We can play chess. We're not playing Connect Four. Right? So as technology speeds up time, let's be honest, as technology speeds up time, you have to consider you have less and less time to plan. You have less and less time to execute. So we're going to try to just get all the things. We learn from you guys too. You know, we don't know it all. We haven't done it all. We've seen a lot. We've done a lot. We've experienced a lot. We've observed a lot. But we learn from you guys as well and your experiences. So we appreciate all of your comments. We surely appreciate the emails. Those are eye openers for us. And when we brought up the relationship thing, we didn't know. We knew it was bad because it was coming up with things that were happening in different aspects of our social media. In addition to this, but I mean, we really, really want to start fostering a system of solidarity. We want to enforce the code, right? We should be able to look at each other and say, "You're not on code. Get on code." And that's a reminder, like, oh, let me fix my crown and let me get on code. Let me stay there. Yeah, stay on code. Right? And then that person reminds somebody else. And it's not from a place of judgment. It is from a place of concern. It is from a place of care. You have these mates. You meet these people. They come into your lives. They love you. Whatever it is they're trying to build with you, just put in a little bit of effort, develop that neural pathway, and build it with them. Build something. You don't understand it, you're not going to understand everything at first. Little by little, poco un poco, little dutty build big dam. Whatever language it needs to be said in, the first step of 1,000 miles, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with just one step. Right. And we live in that microwave society where we can't have the whole 55,000 Bitcoin. We're not going to get it at all. No, poco on poco. Put the $100 in. Put the $300 in. Yeah. If your significant other is coming to you with the Bitcoin standard, read the first page. And you know, Bitcoin in Black America. Bitcoin Zay has a book. It is for us, written by us. Start with the first page. Read the first chapter, then the second chapter, and so on and so forth. Yes, but start somewhere. Take that actionable step, and we're always going to be on take this actionable step. Yeah,
and we're going to try to get out of here. We kept you a little long again today. Only last thing I would like to say is if you guys have questions, keep sending in the comments or the emails so we can know what we can talk about, or if there's things that you would like us to elaborate on, keep doing that. I've noticed we've had people from the Hispanic. So if
we're not trying to alienate y'all. We live in Mexico.
No,
we
but
love y'all.
If you need us to do the show in Spanish, we can do it. We can do the show in Spanish. Let us know if you need a Spanish version. We can go there with you guys. You know, it'll be a little slower, but
a lot slower.
But we can get there because it seems like we got.
I don't have the Bitcoin technicals in Spanish, but we do have resources who do. He said he got it, but then it's going to be my responsibility to figure it out. So, left brain, right brain. Right. So, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all every single week joining us. We will see y'all on Monday. And have a great week. Yeah.